All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Maybon, and I am the board chair of the Corona Chamber of Commerce and owner of Creative by Design. We've got some important updates ahead today, so we appreciate you taking your time to join us. I'll be sharing the agenda today with our 2020 board chair, Don Williamson. Donnie?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kim. Today's call is sponsored by AFE Power. This is not good.
Shut that off. You're off. I'll take it from here, Donnie. Donnie, you're on mute. Kim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry, we got Don. He was in my office and it's not working too well, so.
I can see that.
Okay, how about now?
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like I said, we've been doing this for a long time now, so we're still learning how to do it. Today's call is sponsored by AFE Power. AFE Power is a premier designer and manufacturer of automotive upgrade systems and components. Their product lineup includes air filters, air intake, and exhaust systems for most late model cars and trucks. They are passionate about providing the most compelling, innovative, and high-performing products that are designed, built, and tested in the United States. Thank you, AFE, for sponsoring our update today. Kim, back to you.
Thank you, Don. As a reminder, please use the chat button to ask any questions. You can send your questions to the chamber host, and we will ask them at the appropriate time. At this time, please welcome our President and CEO, Bobby Spiegel, to share a chamber update.
Well, thank you so much, Kim, and I really appreciate that. I wanted to just touch on AFE for just a moment. They are a solid manufacturer here in the Corona area, and I love every product that they manufacture says manufactured in Corona, California, USA. And that is a great big banner that we can boast about, and it's an excellent opportunity for people to know a little bit about Corona. And I just want to take this moment to say in the next 90 days or so, we've got a lot of different activities going on. Tomorrow is our golf tournament, and we have been talking about this for a while. There are still some tickets available if you want to buy the opportunity drawing. They're $25 each, 6 for $100 or 42 for $500. If you buy 6 or more, you could win every one of those prizes that are listed right on up there, from a shotgun to a 50-inch big screen to a $250 Glen Ivy Hot Springs gift card, gift cards to local restaurants, as well as a foursome for golf. A lot of exciting things. So if you want information on that, go to the bit.ly that's on the screen there, and the bit.ly that we want you to go to is bit.ly/golfopdraw21. Tomorrow night, we will also have a twilight celebration, and this is an exciting night for us because we're actually going to acknowledge and recognize Brigadier General Melissa Colburn, who is the first female to run the base at March Airfield Base. And she will be leaving this area after being here for a little over 4 years, but through 5 of our chairmen of the boards. And so we're going to do a special presentation. Everyone's invited to attend. Tickets are available for $75 each or 2 for $125. That includes your dinner and a great time, because we've got this band that's coming out, and you definitely don't want to miss Neon Nation. That bit.ly is /Twilight21. We also have some great auction items that are going to be available. So if you want information on that, you can contact us. They'll be going up on the screen, up on our website at the end of today. Our Memorial Mile March is Saturday. That is put together by our Chamber Foundation. And we're very excited to have that and have a grand marshal. This is a great team building exercise. It is also a great family event. So if you go online to givebigcorona.com, you can get all that information. It's free to attend. And we encourage you to come down to the chamber at 8 o'clock for registration and check-in. The The walk begins at 9 o'clock. We go around historic Grand Boulevard and end down at the City Hall. On June 3rd will be our chance to receive one-on-one training. If you want to kind of learn what some of us have already gone through, limited to the first 8 to 10 people, it's $75 for members, $199 for non-members. This is a great training, of course, as I've shared before. As the president, CEO of an organization, sometimes you need to be able to connect with other people. And Paul Webb and Jeff Brandeis have done an extraordinary job in providing this training for those top leaders that want to get a little more connected and focused in on their own goals. On June 25th, we have the State of the City, and that is, of course, we're open for business. Our mayor, Jackie Casillas, is gearing up, and she is ready to share with the business community. We'd like you to register at bit.ly/GMC June 2021. We have a lot of different sponsors, and if you would like to be part of that, we'd love to acknowledge your company as well. Individual registrations are also welcomed. On Thursday, July 22nd, in partnership with United Paving as our presenting sponsor, and then the other three chambers, there's 4 of us up here that are doing this: the Corona Chamber, Brea Chamber, Yorba Linda Chamber, and then also the Chino Valley Chamber. It's a great opportunity for us to hear from Professor Dr. Chris Thornburg, who is going to do the economic forecast. It'll be here at Eagle Glen, right in Corona, and we encourage you all to attend. On July 1st, we have a great mixer, and that is, our mixers this year are called Circle City Social. It'll start at 5 p.m. at the Staybridge Suites. That's up in the Dos Lagos area, and it'll be a great opportunity if you do want to get a booth and you want to do some sharing with different businesses. This will be the fun time to do it. That will be on July 1st. bit.ly/CCS July 1. And then I just wanted to wrap up with a huge thank you to each and every one of you. We've made some tremendous strides on our advocacy outreach. Jeff's going to share some of that later on in the program, but I'm so proud of all of you for taking time out of your schedule every single week to be on the call, as well those that listen to the call afterwards, and then to take the action and connect with our elected officials. I know that they are hearing our voices, and I so appreciate each and every one of you. I want to again thank AFE for their sponsorship of today's program. And Kim, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Bobby. Anthony, do we have any questions regarding those events?
There are no questions.
Okay. Well, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dawn. You're on mute. Donnie, you're on mute.
I'm muted now. As part of our chamber's advocacy outreach,
Donnie, before you get started, we're doing Zoom now, okay? This is a new feature that we've got.
Thank you.
Okay, pal. Love you.
These calls are part of our advocacy outreach, where we're here to provide you information that's going to help you with your business to be aware of what's going on at every level of our government that affects us. State, federal, county, city, it's all right here. These briefings are to educate and empower you. And if you're still not a member, you need to be a member of the Corona Chamber of Commerce if you're doing business here. Or if you know a business that should be a member and would benefit from membership, please contact our membership specialist, Robert Yanez, to be part of the Corona Chamber of Commerce. The more members we have, the more influence we have, the more knowledge we can spread throughout the community and help everyone. So please help us grow. Robert is doing a great job adding members every day. We're growing, and we need your help to continue to grow. There are incentives for joining. There are incentives for helping and referring businesses to join. So please, we invite you to help us make a larger impact and be part of the Corona Chamber of Commerce. So call Robert today. Thank you. Kim?
Thank you, Donnie. At this time, we will shift to our advocacy segment, where our legislative advocate, Jeff Gibson, will share. Keeping a pulse on what's happening in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. can be a full-time job. With Jeff Gibson's thorough and complete research, He helps the Corona Chamber to act timely on projects and initiatives that can help make a difference in shaping our community. As owner of Occidental Communications Group, Jeff Gibson takes a 40,000-foot view on most of the proposed bills and then dissects them to our level and how we as business owners and managers will be impacted by these proposed bills. His knowledge of complex political issues and the great relationships he has built ensure the Corona Chamber has all the tools to be effective on behalf of the business community. Please help me welcome Jeff Gibson to share a legislative update.
Hello, everybody. I'll refrain from repeating myself, but we're here this morning to discuss a couple of different things. First, we probably should look at the second slide first, given it determines what our position on the first slide. So the second slide is an economic update where the statewide hiring rate dropped by nearly 25% since March. And so there are three trends that should indicate that the hiring rate in the state of California is going up as a percentage. One, you're reopening the economy at a faster rate than you have since the initial shutdowns of March of last year. So there are more jobs that are available. And you could see that compared to many of the other places in the country that we would consider competitors, California by far has the highest unemployment rate. And that's the first chart on the bottom. And that unemployment rate is not going down. So where Florida is at full employment at under 5%, California is at an 8.3% unemployment rate. So two, we have an out-migration, whereas Florida is still at full employment, and it picked up 150,000 new people in its labor pool last year alone. That does not include new residents. Those are people that are available and ready to work. 150,000 of them moved into Florida from other states last year. They still actually had their unemployment rate go down. So they are producing jobs in each of these states fast enough to take on all of the people from other states who are interested in having jobs. But still, even though we're losing people, we are still seeing the unemployment rate go up. So that's a damaging, that's a real problematic sign for us long term. And then third, that you have a fewer people who are actually taking jobs. In March, we had about 132,000 people who took new positions and left not switched positions, because then that wouldn't cause a change in the unemployment rate, right? Went from unemployed to employed. We had about 132,000 people do that in March, which was much lower than expected. It was expected to have 1 million. You may have seen that in April, as a nation, we were expecting 1 million people to be added to workforces and off the unemployment rolls in April. And that came in at 266,000, which is explained in the pie chart here. Now, in California, we went from 132,000 new jobs to 101,000 new jobs. Generally, when you see a 25% drop off like that, usually the unemployment rate within your state is below 5% and usually much lower. So essentially, you're running out of new jobs to produce because the economy is in the midst of growing. We are not in the midst of growing, and we still are producing fewer new jobs despite having more job openings. And so that's where that's the basis for which I approach every week in coming here and looking at the stresses that you're feeling in the larger economy, the stresses that you're likely feeling in your own business, and then how to advise you from there. And so against this background of employers have plenty of positions because the number of jobs that were reported open actually went up substantially in California over the last six weeks, and will increase substantially more between now and June 15th. And then again, as we go to what we're going to look at, whatever happens after June 15th, whether that involves masks, whether that involves whatever it involves. If we're looking at a Florida situation where there are no, or a Texas situation where there are no restrictions whatsoever, then you're going to be looking at millions more jobs that are available to be filled in need of workers. And so, but obviously, and now if we can go back to the first slide, one of the things that determines your success is new taxes. And the state of California, as we discussed last week, has said that it has a $75.7 billion surplus in tax revenue. And in fact, we have so much that they're going to, that the governor is looking at between $600 and $900 worth of refunds to people that largely don't pay state taxes. So they're going to be refunding your tax dollars to people that don't pay taxes. We'll underline that one more time. And so you've got a record $75.7 billion surplus. And several legislators celebrated that by introducing major tax hikes, which would be going after almost every single person that pays income taxes of any type in California. The two largest, or the two most egregious for business owners that I identified right off the bat, were ACA 8 by Assemblymember Lee from San Jose, which is essentially an across-the-board tax hike on almost every form of property and income, including capital gains. The capital gains taxes that are paid in the state of California are largely responsible for the $75.7 billion huge one-time budget surplus, which will be coming in over the next 2 years. And I already see that we have an opposed on that. But oftentimes tax increases are tied to a new policy or a new initiative. In this case, they are not. It just goes directly into the general fund for the purposes that the state legislature sees fit on any given basis. So we almost never have been in favor of a tax increase. We definitely haven't been in favor of a tax increase. It goes into a general fund. And so that's what we're looking at here for opposition today. And then we'll get into the other issues. But need a motion and a second.
Can we do a single vote for both items, or do we need to do them separately?
Yeah, I can plow through the last one too. It's partly the same type of theme. AB 1253 by Assemblymember Santiago from Los Angeles. Again, it's an income tax rate increase for sole proprietors and high income earners. So, and that's across almost every single form of what the author is terming wealth, which includes your car, includes your business, includes almost anything that you've purchased after you've paid your other taxes. So our post-tax dollars, which, you know, as we all know, means that about the 50 cents or the 55 cents if you have a really sharp pencil that you use to actually live your daily life. Yeah, it's an across-the-board hike. California, just for the record, has the highest rate of all the taxes that are being looked at. We by far have the highest income tax rate and the lowest rate of collections. So we have the highest gate and the lowest ability to stop people from avoiding those gates. So it's a broken system. We could actually probably lower the rate and increase collections and revenue, but that's not an experiment that we're currently interested in Sacramento. So, but these definitely need to be opposed. They've been rated as job killers by the California Chamber of Commerce, and looking for your support.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Before we get to the questions, I wanted to acknowledge the following individuals on our call. Former California State Assembly member Jeff Miller, former Corona Mayor Jason Scott, and former Corona Council member Yolanda Carrillo. Thank you all for attending. Anthony, do we have any questions for Jeff regarding these bills?
Yes, we actually have a handful of questions. The first being, if I understand the Corona Chamber, is sending communication to the governor and elected state officers to encourage the stopping of additional compensation from the federal government. What can we do to support this?
I believe, well, okay, so what can you do to support this? So, okay, so on the issue, the issue that we're asking is that we have already communicated with state legislators and the governor that we would like to use the additional dollars that are coming in from the federal government in the manner that other states are using to relieve our very large and growing deficit in the unemployment insurance. We're not asking for the state to turn down the dollars by using those federal dollars to replenish our unemployment or to eliminate our unemployment insurance deficit as a state. The federal government for a number of years, going back to 2008, has been filling our state's unemployment insurance fund with IOUs. At some point, the federal government is going to determine, likely in the next 6 months, is going to determine that we are insolvent, at which point the state is going to start to enact special taxes at $42 a year. They will be raised at $42 a year per employee each year for the next 10 years, so that your unemployment insurance tax that you already are paying per employee of $42 goes to $84 next year, goes to $126 after that, and onward up until 10 years from now, you're paying $452 per employee in unemployment insurance taxes. So the thing that you can do is to get a hold of the governor or the state legislature. The state has already said that it will give $1.1 billion of the federal emergency assistance to the process of relieving our deficit. But to give you an idea of how big our deficit is, it's about $22.4 billion, which is well over half of the United States deficit in the unemployment insurance system. Why is it so big? Because each state is allowed to have its own rules about what constitutes unemployment insurance, and obviously other states have rules that are focused on maintaining their unemployment insurance system in a balance, as opposed to using the federal government as a backstop, which is what we do here in California. So you can get a hold of the governor. We have that contact information. You can get a hold of our state senator, Richard Roth, and our state assembly member, Sabrina Cervantes. And it's very important to do that and let them know, since they will be voting on the state budget sometime between June 15th and likely closer to June 30th, that state budget needs to have at least $10 billion in it for the replenishment of the unemployment insurance system, so that starting January 1st, you as an employer don't suddenly have an additional tax of $42 per employee on top of your existing $42. I mean, your taxes next year are going to go up by 100% per employee for unemployment insurance. And So that's what that drill is about.
Thank you, Jeff. The next question is, did you say people who do not pay taxes are getting a refund? That seems kind of like it should be labeled a gift or a present. Can you clarify on that?
Yes, large percentage. So the one-time grants that are coming back to California residents are going to be going to the lowest 2/3 of the socioeconomic scale in California, as determined by the governor's administration. And over 98% of the taxes that are collected that constitute the $75.7 billion worth of surplus. So this is surplus above the $230 billion that the state of California spends every year on just the state government. To give you an idea, per capita, that is by far more spending than any other state. So we have 76 billion above that amount. That 76 billion is largely paid for by the 10% of people that would be considered either business owners or those who are active in the stock market or in any sort of financial market that yields capital gains. So you have about 90% of people in the state of California that pay little or no state taxes outside of property tax. The property tax collections and all of the tax collections from those other types of services and revenue are not responsible for any of the $75.7 billion surplus. So, but the people that are going to be receiving that 75.75, about $50 billion of that surplus through refunds and other items are the people that don't pay those taxes. You got 10% paying the taxes, 90% not paying the taxes, and the lowest 2/3 are going to be, or what are considered the lowest 2/3 are going to be getting the refunds. So yes, it is a gift of government funds or welfare or whatever, however you want to term it. It's being termed as a tax refund, but in a tax refund scenario, those taxes would be going back to the people that paid them, and that's where that statement comes from.
Thank you, Jeff. And we have a few questions about AB 570 and how that was recently amended. If we can lump those questions together, and if you can elaborate about the successful attempts by our LAC and the Chamber's successful efforts in getting that bill amended.
Hold on, let me pull this up.
Want me to jump in, Jeff?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, real briefly, you know, every week we come on these calls and we present legislation that's moving through the system that mostly has a negative impact to the employers. AB 570 had an estimated cost on employers to the tune of $1 billion. And what the bill did, the bill required employer-sponsored health insurance to require and allow dependent parents and step parents on the plan. And it got amended to off employer-sponsored plans and is now included in individual policies only. But I should point out that as chair of the Legislative Affairs Committee, we worked really hard as a chamber, and many of you on this call sent letters of opposition and to amend it, and we were successful, and it was because of our efforts.
Well, and as we talked about at the time, the legislature, and we've worked on in a number of different bills, the legislature is trying to expand employer responsibility to include almost anyone an employee would classify, whether it's for leave purposes. A leave bill that we've opposed. We've opposed several in the leave area. Was just amended. Assembly member Gonzalez from San Diego. You remember we had a bill that we've opposed, would give employees of more than 30 days. So someone hires in with you, they're on your books for 30 days. They announce that someone in their family, not in their immediate family, but their family has a health issue, and either they are too distraught to work, or they need to be a caregiver under the initial draft of the bill when we opposed it. Then you as an employer would have to give them paid leave of up to 120 days. The bill has been amended to only encompass a single parent that was in residence before the job was taken. So it was narrowed pretty substantially, but there is a lot of work going on in this area to make you as employers responsible for almost any decision that employees have to make. And I've cared for parents before. A lot of us have on this call. We understand the push and pull that life has, but that's definitely something that people must go through, unfortunately. But we've worked very hard to protect you from these huge increases in per employee costs.
Once we explain the dire consequences of this bill to the author, that's when some of the changes took place.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff Gibson, as well as Jeff Miller, for being on this call and elaborating on that for us. No further questions.
Okay. So at this time, I would welcome a motion to oppose ACA 8 as well as AB 1253. And former State Assembly member Jeff Miller has go ahead and motions for that. Do I have a second?
I will second. This is Yolanda Carrillo.
Thank you, Yolanda. If there's any, is there any further discussion regarding these bills? Seeing no further discussion, we are ready to vote. All those in favor of opposing ACA 8 and AB 1253, please say yes.
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 Yes. All opposed to our motion opposing these bills, please say nay. Are there any abstaining? Okay, this motion carries, and the Corona Chamber will go on record of opposing ACA 8 and AB 1253. As Jeff mentioned, please reach out to your local representatives, Assembly Member Sabrina Cervantes and Senator Richard Roth, both of whose contact information is provided on your screen. Again, thank you, Jeff, for providing us with these critical updates.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Donnie?
Once again, we'd like to thank today's sponsors, AFE Power. Their talented team is focused on bringing the best products and customer experience to the end user. The AFE product line includes over 2,500 applications, which are all designed, developed, and manufactured right here in Corona, California. Learn more at afepower.com. Kim?
Thank you, Don. If you would like to sponsor a future business briefing, please contact the Chamber. Register now to join us next Wednesday for more advocacy news. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Our meeting is adjourned.